Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, I got a question for you. What do you do when everything in your life is not going the way that you want it to go, and you are saying to yourself, something needs to change? Well, I'm here to help you out with that on this week's Midweek Medicine. My name is Lamar, and I'm grateful and thankful that you have joined us today. So let's dive into the Word to get some encouragement so we can learn to live our success life. When? Now. When? Now. Why? Because you deserve success. Today, I want to talk about this very word, disruption. What happens when disruption comes into your life? Or if you have answered that question, your back is against the wall. You know that things need to change. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. I come to tell you today that you may need a little disruption. I know that may be hard for you to hear. I know it may be hard for you to understand or to, what you mean? I need disruption. I don't want disruption, because when disruption comes, things get overturned, things change, things get out of whack. I don't want this disruption. But hear me out in this week's Midweek Medicine. Come on, let's dive into it as we talk about disruption. And this is a year of renewing, a year of look, if last year was a rough year, if last year you wasn't satisfied with the results at the end of the year, my challenge to you is to do something different so that you can get a different result in this year to come. Because we know, as we've been talking about change in our previous messages on Sunday and in our midweek medicine, if this is going to be a year of renewing our mind, as Romans the 12th chapter says, don't conform to this world. Don't conform to the things that have not been getting you the results. But be transformed. How? By renewing your mind. That word renew there means to renovate. So I have to take some things out. I have to remove some things. And as we've been talking about the put off principle, or the put on principle. There's things that you have to put off, and there's things that you have to put on in order to realize the result that you're wanting to get in your life. But when disruption comes, or the vantage point that I want to talk about from today is, look, change happens. Sometimes change happens and you didn't ask it to happen. Things just change. You could have a situation that comes and change. But today I want to talk about, look, some things come and change that you wasn't expecting. And then look, some people just sit back and watch things as they're changing and do nothing. But today I want to talk about the change that you make happen. When things are not going the way that you would like, you start changing some things. So today I'm talking from the vantage point of you causing the disruption on purpose. So let's talk about it, because I know when you think of disruption, or you hear the word disruption, you think of pain, that the pain that is going to come. And look, disruption is painful. It's when you don't expect the change. And watch this. When disruption comes, it interrupts some things in your life. Look, you could be driving down the road and catch a flat tire. That's disruption. Why? Because it has interrupted your travel from getting to point A to point B on the journey that you were going. And that interruption causes some agitation. It causes some things to take place on the inside of us. It's when, see, the disruption is coming when what you have been doing don't work, or what has been working is not working anymore. So now the situation comes where you have to interrupt those patterns. You have to interrupt those routines in order to get a different result. Don't you want a different result? Come on, I want something different. I've been doing this way and it hasn't been working for me. and I want something different. If that's you, then listen up to what the message is going to have for us today. When what used to feel stable doesn't feel stable anymore, that's a sign that something needs to change. And if something needs to change, you may need some disruption in order to change that. So watch this. This change has a sound to it. I know you've been hearing the sound. You may have been preaching the sound and speaking the sound and haven't heard it, but everyone around you has heard it. And they may be tired of hearing it. I know some folks that I have close to me that I can share things with. Sometimes I know they get tired of me saying the same thing over and over, or tired of me saying I want this to change and this change, and then nothing changes. Why? Because there's something that's needed, and that need is disruption. What do you do when it's time to disrupt the thing, and it's you that have to do it? Because disruption is going to cause something to shift. There's a shifting that has to take place, and a lot of times when that we need to shift, we are afraid of what needs to take place in order for that to happen. So that fear that comes in will cause us to now we become paralyzed, not able to do the things that we need to do. So when a disruption comes, what do you do in that situation? Let's look back now to what does that change sound like? You may sound like from this standpoint of, I didn't plan for this to happen, or I wasn't expecting this to happen, or I didn't think I would end up here. Those are the sounds that disruption needs to come in and change that routine and change that pattern. When you're hearing those things coming, watch this. Disruption doesn't just affect what's happening around you. Get this point. It doesn't just affect what's happening around you. The disruption affects what's happening on the inside of you. So this renewing, this change that we're talking about, it's an inside game. It's what has to change on the inside that is really the main focal point, and not just the what's happening around me. And so when you change on the inside, then the sound is also going to change, and the sound is also going to shift. So if you sound like I wasn't expecting this, that what I wasn't expecting this turn into, okay, it has come, but you know what? I'm going to get through this. I'm going to be better when I come out on the other side of this. I'm going to see this not as destroying me, but I know it's time for me to develop into someone that I hadn't seen before, and I know it's on the inside of me to do so, because greater is he that is in me than he that is in this world. So therefore, the disruption comes for you to tap into something on the inside that has been planted there, that has been manufactured there. The manufacturer has built you for such a time as this. What is the time that he's built me for? We've heard that cliche. You've been built for such a time as this. You've been called for such a time as this. Well, you know what the time is? The time for you to disrupt the things that's going on in your life in order for you to get to the place that you know that you want to get to, but it's going to take a shift. The disruption has come to shift you. The disruption has come for you to announce to you that there is another level available to you. And if you keep doing the same thing that you've been doing on the previous level, you're not going to be able to step into the next level. So the disruption has come not to destroy you, but to develop you. So, and the next thing I want to talk about is, not from the shift, we talked about the shift, but I want to talk about not discrediting the disruption. Don't look at the disruption as the end of the world. Or the main thing that we focus on is looking at the disruption as failure and saying, I failed. I failed at this. I failed to get this done. I failed to do this thing. That is internalizing it as your identity. And I come to tell you that as a person, you're not a failure. It's the things that you have done. It's the behavior that you may have adopted. It is the patterns that you may have done that has failed. But you can get yourself up and change that and now have different behaviors, have different habits, and cause that shift. And that's what the disruption is not coming to tell you that you are a failure. It's telling you that what you have been doing is failing and you need to shift. You need to change direction. You need to change what you have been doing. Come on, that's some good stuff. Somebody out, you needed that. You needed someone to come tell you that you are not a failure. What you are doing is failing. And if it's not failure, it's just telling you something needs to change. Something needs to be done differently. See, throughout life, we're taught that if you are a failure, you are a bad person or something is wrong with you. And it's not something wrong with you. It's something wrong with the way you have been doing it. And that has been failing. But if you shift gears to a mindset of growth that, hey, look, it didn't work this way. What is another way that I need to go about this? What is another? Look, I'm not satisfied with what I have been getting out of life. So what do I need to do differently so I can get the result that I've been hoping for? And what I'm saying to you is don't discredit when you ask God, I want something to change, and I want out of this situation, I want out of this area of, for the lack of words, don't discredit when disruption comes. And the disruption going to be disguised in pain with an issue. When you say, I want out, maybe he'll give you a thorn in your flesh. Maybe he's going to give you a situation or a circumstance, as we're going to see in the text, our scripture for today, to cause the disruption to come to, number one, to know that you can get through it, and number two, to know him, that he's able to get you through it. So don't discredit the disruption. Come on, let's admit something. Deep down inside, I know you feel like there's change that has to happen because your peace has been disrupted, your confidence has been disrupted, and maybe your faith has been disrupted. But really, the disruption is coming to tell you that something has to change. And when that thing changes, guess what also changes? Your peace is going to change, your confidence is going to change, and your faith is going to change, because now you're going to come to a place to where, you know what? This didn't come to destroy me. This has come to build me. I'm stronger. I'm wiser. I'm better. Why? Because the disruption came and it didn't destroy me. I saw that it worked together for my good. I saw that the weapon formed, but I saw that it also that it didn't prosper. And that is the process that we got to go through. But what we are afraid of a lot of times, look, I wrote it down here. Let me find it. It's not that we fear, it's not only that we fear change. Yes, we fear change because change hurts. Change brings pain. Yes. So the fear of something changes comes. But watch this. But what I believe we fear the most is the process we have to go through to bounce back. So not only you may have fear of things changing, really what we're fearing is the bounce back that I'm gonna have to go through. If I lose everything, the pain of having to get that stuff back, the time that it's gonna take to get those things back. If I lose a loved one, if I go through a divorce, if I go through a loss of job, if I go through a health issue, all of these things, it's the process that we are afraid of, of what we're having to go through. So we don't want to discredit the disruption, because here's the real issue with disruption. It's often looked at as failure that will bring paralysis. So this is where the fight, the flight, and where we freeze up would come from. Because of now the fear is causing me to be disoriented, and that's what the enemy comes to do with the disruption. He's coming to steal, kill, and to destroy, to disorient you into thinking that something is wrong with you, and you can't get out of this situation, and you will never be what you were called to be, and you will never have a financial breakthrough. All of these things you begin to internalize like you are the problem, and then that's when you get stuck. That's when you get to a place of wanting to run and hide, and then the depression comes, and the overwhelm comes, and the frustration comes. But guess what? These are signals that you have to change something. So you are the same person that is able to change the situation, just as you think that you are the same person that can't change the situation. But I come to tell you that you can, because it's in you to do so. So, what do we have to do in order for this to come to pass? Let's just look at a illustration here of renovating a house. When you go to renovate a house, you know what you want it to become, but it hasn't become that yet. But then now there's a series of, okay, the house has become a bad eyesore on the street, and then there's demolition that has to take place. But look what the first thing that has to start. Look, when renovating houses, the first thing that you do, you go out and get a dumpster, and you put a dumpster out on the site so that you can start tearing out the things that need to be torn out, and you start demolishing things. But watch this. When you go in and you start demolishing things, you also discover things behind the walls that may need fixing that you didn't know was there. So the disruption comes sometimes and reveal things that you didn't even know that was inside. I didn't even know I was angry about that. I didn't even know that was affecting me the way it is affecting me. I didn't even know that I would respond this way to this disruption that has come. And the beauty of the disruption is God sometimes will teach you something about you that you didn't know about you, but it just took the right thing to be disrupted to reveal it, not for it to destroy you, but for you to work on it so that you can get to the next level. Come on, I need you to say this with me. I'm working on me in this year. I'm working on the things that need to be worked on. But I know it sounds great to shout it, but when you say I want to work on the things on me that needs to be worked on, sometimes it's like surgery. Sometimes it's like demolition. It's tearing out. It's knocking down walls. It's facing things that I normally wouldn't want to face. It's facing the things that need to be faced. It's dealing with the difficult conversations that I need to have, the difficult decisions that I need to make, to exclude myself from certain circles that haven't been beneficial to me, to exclude myself from conversations that is bringing me down instead of building me up. And these things, this is the disruption that you don't need to discredit. I know you may love this individual, but maybe that connection is bringing you to so far down to a place that is destroying you. You don't have to minimize the love, but you have to minimize the conversation. You have to minimize the contact and the connection in order to get yourself to a healthier place so that you can grow in that area. Oh, I hope that helped somebody out because it helped me out. So if you want to get the house right, we have to allow the disruption to be deeper. The house has to be renovated. You have to get all of the things out that's not beneficial to the beauty that a house can become. Our lives are the same. So what's the lesson that we have to learn in this? I want to use Acts the 16th chapter, verse 25 and 26, so that we can get the lesson. Because watch this. In the story, this is Paul and Silas when they were thrown in prison. They were in a situation where a woman with an unclean spirit, a spirit of divination, I believe it says, or, she was working for those in the town at the time, bringing them money by being a card reader or a sorcerer and that such. And Paul wasn't having it. And he cast out that devil, but when he cast out that devil, it also shifted the money that they were making from this person doing the divinations or doing the card reading or doing the tarot reading or whatever. It messed their money up is plain and simple of what it was. So because it messed their money up, they threw them in prison. But look at their response. When they were in prison, look what it says. At midnight, Paul and Silas prayed. Watch this. They were thrown into prison for following God. They were thrown into a situation because of what they were doing the right thing, but they were thrown in prison because it affected some evil that was going on in the land. It affected what the world was putting as priority. And so watch. Disruption came to them. Disruption shifted them. Disruption happened to them. But watch their response in verse 26. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 25 is the response. But at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed there and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners heard them. And watch verse 26. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundation of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were open, and everyone's bands were loose. I'm telling you that story to get the lesson. When the disruption comes, it doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to build you. And God has your back. The whole kingdom of God has your back. They showed that through the disruption, they wasn't going to allow the disruption to hinder their praise. They wasn't going to allow it to hinder their worship. So this is a mindset shift that when evil comes, I'm not going to let that evil bring me to match evil with it, but I'm going to fight with the good that's on the inside of me and the praise that's on the